What is up, survivors? We are back with another top 5 build locations. This time we're on Valguero, and we're starting off right here in the Chalk Cliffs. The area is actually down here at the bottom, but we're at about 79, 66 it looks like. Yep, just about there. Anyhow, we're going to go down here and cruise around. So basically what you have down here is a nice little flat area, and the Chalk Cliffs kind of secluded. Yeah, you have stuff that drops in, but for the most part, you're kind of left alone down here. You have little islands off to each side that have plenty of bare resources, basic resources all nearby. And then you also have this little tunnel actually that can follow you, that you can follow out into the canyon. Basic resources like, get out of here. Oh, hello, Alsor. So you have access straight out here. You'll find typical stuff that you're going to find out here. You're going to see the cactus, you're going to see the silk and stuff out here too. Your higher end resources are kind of nice because if you have, obviously you probably want a flyer when you have a base like this. There's a mountain right over here next to you that has tons of metal, a little bit and crystal, a little bit of obsidian, just located sporadically out here, which is kind of nice. Obsidian's actually also on the back edge of the cliffs too. I like this place mainly for just the look. It's a really cool look. I really like it. You can build something really cool in here. And like I said, you even have these little nooks back here that you can put stuff in. Build little bridges between the two of them. Plenty of fish down here too. All in all, it's a pretty fun spot. I really dig it. Have a lot of fun on this one. But yeah, that is one of my top 5. While we are in the Chalk Cliffs, I figured we'd talk about another spot that I do like, and it's at 7280. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see what's going on. Basically, we're on the Chalk Cliffs right by the beach on this giant plateau that only has 2 bridges in and out, which means that you could easily put up a couple of dino gates on either side of this bridge, and you got a pretty safe environment to build and hang out at around here. Plenty of stone, plenty of berries, plenty of wood, thatch, stuff like that is all laying around. And again, you have access to the mountains around you from the White Cliffs, so high-end resources are right there. I like this location a little bit better as far as functionality, because it's definitely easier to defend your base. Like, you could easily put a behemoth gate here, and then slide over to this side, behemoth gate here, and you're keeping all your big nasty stuff out and away, and you have this giant cliff that you're built on the whole time, so you can't really be snuck up on very easily. Plenty of wide open flat area to build, plenty of area for dino storage. This is definitely for even a medium to large tribe because of how much area you have up here. Plenty of room. You can actually snap a tree stand to this spot up here too, if that's something that you're interested in, to give you even a little bit more space. But yeah, all your resources are up above the cliffs around you. The other reason why I kind of like this one a little bit better than the first one I showed you is because right across the water, those ponds I'm looking at off in the distance, have your cementing paste right there too. So you're a little bit closer to cementing paste. Pretty much most of your resources are pretty easily obtainable from this section. Really like this spot, plenty of room. This is definitely one of my top 5. Coming out here to another spot that I really enjoy. We're sitting at 2269-ish. We're kind of right here in this flat area that borderlines this normal like woodland with the Arctic biome. Now, you got to be a little bit safe. Gigas can spawn around here periodically, so you're definitely going to need to build walls, things like that. But the huge lot of nice flat area that you have, water is right nearby, pearls are in the water, most of your resources are right by you between the Arctic biome and then up in the mountains of this biome region in general. You have plenty of metal right here by you as well. I mean, like, and even obsidian's up here too. So you got pretty much all your resources are represented and very close by. You have a ton of room to work with. I mean, if we zoom out here, you're dealing with a ton of room. And this is what's in frame is fairly flat. To the north of this part up here, it tends to roll around a little bit, but down in this area is nice, flat, and even. Plus, you got a cool little scenic view with the waterfall, even if you wanted to build down at this lower level instead of up top. Easy access to the frost biome. You just want to pay attention. Like I said, this is potentially a giga spawning area, so be careful of that. This one definitely more so kind of like the last location I showed you. I like this one because you have a lot of area, a lot of resources, a lot of flatness, plenty of places to work with. Definitely dig it. And it's definitely a bit more functional because your resources are right here. Cementing paste might still be a thing. That's usually one of the ones I think about, but you know, nice thing is it doesn't weigh too much, so you can fly out and grab it and come back if you need to. But the most of your heavier resources are close by, making this spot very, very, very nice and kind of a hot commodity. This is a pretty common area for people to build into. And that's one of my top 5. Next up, we are in the frozen biome, and we are sitting at about 1648. Now, I like this spot in the Arctic biome because if you want to build out in the snow, this is a good spot because it has a heck of a vantage point. You're up on top of this cliff, so you really only have to worry about animals coming up after you one specific way, and that's up this hill. So you can easily defend the bottom of this hill to kind of keep things so they can't really come up after you. And really it's only this one land ramp coming up. This other ramp is only, I mean, sometimes certain things can come up like that mammoth sometimes, but you can gate this off too to keep that from happening. Gives you plenty of room. You're up in the ice biome, so a lot of your resources are definitely going to represent it up here. There's actually obsidian nodes all around you right here, but there's plenty elsewhere, so I wouldn't worry too much about this despawning. This large tree you can build multiple tree stands on, and you actually have an oil node deposit as well, giving you a lot of room. So if you do the tree stand, you can easily get a base built with small, medium-sized base up on the tree stand, and then have all the room underneath for dino storage, and again some defenses down here, and you're pretty much all set. This is definitely more scenic than it is advantageous. In the cold area, obviously it's cold, so you have to prepare for that. Not a whole lot of vegetation for berries, so you have to pay attention to that. Resources you're going to have to fly in and out of to get the stuff that you need, but really it's the really cool vantage point. I just like the look of this, being able to kind of look out, especially on a tree stand level, being able to kind of look out across most good chunk size of the map right here. Just a pretty scene. Really, this one's definitely more location than it is functionality, kind of about pretty much how the first one was. So we got one more build location to talk about, and then that'll be it. Alrighty, so one of my favorite spots looks kind of bad because there's an Alpha Carno and all sorts of nasty stuff down here. We are sitting at about 5315. We are sitting on top of this plateau in the tundra. So the ruined tundra castles down there, the redwoods and the redwood castles right down there. The waterfall cave system to the underwater biome is over there. Pretty much, you got access to pretty much everything you need right down. So if you're building anywhere up top of here, to even over here, down in the streams down there will be a bunch of beaver dams, so that's all right there. Your metal nodes are actually stretched, and so let's zoom out. Let's say we basically built anywhere around this lake, right? Your metal is all scattered around down here. There's obsidian down up in the mountains as well. Pearls are going to be down in some of the water down here. Most of your heavy end resources are here. A lot of stuff that you need. Now obviously it's a tundra, so it's a little bit annoying with things like dire wolves and packs running around, Utis running around, Alpha Carnos running around. But if you can get setted up here, if you can get stable up here and situated up here with some decent defenses, this is actually a really nice place. I'm actually playing in our community server. This is the location that I'm currently building at and living at, and I gotta tell you, I really like it. I was a little skeptical at first, but I actually really enjoy living here, and you have plenty of room all the way around this thing to build. You could definitely spam some foundations, kind of spot foundations all around to keep the dinos from spawning after you clear it out. And if you do, you really only have one way up and one way down. So you have this land ramp that kind of comes up and down, but everything else pretty much have this cliff edge. Not too much to worry about. So you could just pick a spot, or you could kind of take over the whole thing if you're really feeling froggy. I think this general spot is good, depending regardless if you're a small, medium, or large tribe, right? So if you're a smaller tribe, you can kind of pick a side. Medium, you can kind of pick a side. Large, I mean, you could even take over most of this thing if you really wanted to. Wouldn't be too difficult as long as you did some planning ahead. But yeah, this is definitely one of the... I was leery about this at first, and then I built in here, and I actually really love it. This is actually one of my favorite spots now. And that's pretty much it for the top 5. Valguero has some awesome ruins and awesome spot locations that look really great and might seem like they might be really fun to build in, especially a lot of these ruins. But the problem with these ruins is that they don't snap very well to buildings when you're trying to rebuild them. They don't really work as well as like the ruins on Ragnarok do. It's kind of, or the center. It's a little bit difficult to build in some of these areas, so I don't necessarily like building in the ruins, even though I really, really love the ruins and the redwoods in general. A couple of honorable mentions would be these two islands right here when you start off at, right across from the redwoods, mainly because there's nothing mean here and you can get basic resources, good place to start, and fairly central to the map. Probably should have mentioned that one, but not something I typically build in, mainly because you're going to grow out of it fairly quickly as far as the resources that you need. The jungle biome is absolutely gorgeous in this map, but much like my complaints sort of with Extinction and even a little bit with Aberration, is that there's so many different elevation changes that it does make it a little bit difficult to really have a good spot and still have access to things very easily. I love the jungle and the swamp biome on this map. I think they look absolutely gorgeous. But as far as functionality goes, if you're really trying to play for functionality versus looks, it makes it a little bit difficult to live in here. And so that's the only reason why none of the jungle swamp locations were on the list. I had to pick a top 5. There's a couple of spots out here that aren't too bad, but it's really, really hard to navigate through at times. And there also are some really cool locations in the aberration zone, but the big thing for me with the aberration zone is that you're restricted to certain resources that you're just not going to easily get down here, and you definitely feel really disconnected from the rest of the map. It's not very easily accessible. There's pretty much only 2 routes in, 2 routes out, and I'm not a huge fan of that one. I love the biome and it's great, and I've tried building bases down here a few times, but it's just, I mean, I guess it depends on your playstyle, but that's the only reason why it isn't on my list. It's mainly because of getting in and out of it can be kind of a pain without teleporters or really good flyers. But that's it, guys. That's the top 5 build locations right here on Valguero. Hope you guys liked the video. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Why don't you leave your build locations in the comments. See you guys.